Welcome to another Futures Initiative Trading Recap. Tonight we have Tommy, Lima, and Dubster share with us the trades of today. Price action of today was a little bit wonky, had a little bit of news, but really we are in preparation for non-farm payroll tomorrow. Without going much further, I'm going to go ahead and let Dubster take over and share with us his trades of today.
Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and start with NQ. Just by looking at the charts, looking at price action, I want to talk about something very specific that happened here overnight. And Quantastic and I were actually talking about this, and we did posted this on the Discord channel, right? At this time during the day, there was something very important that I noticed here in this specific area. We're currently on the 5-minute frequency on ES, S&P 500. We have something very important here. We have a fair value gap here of the 5-minute. That has not been closed completely. It got wicked in, consequent encroachment never got hit. So this guy right here is very important. One of the strategies that I love to play are the ones, the final fair value gaps here. For example, we also have another one here. The reason why this guy is much more important than this guy is because this guy has been mitigated. So if we were to go ahead and just scroll it to the side, we know that this final one already got played. So from here, what do we see? We saw a bounce. So there's no need for us to know that this is going to be used again, at least not with the strategy I play. So we have one right here. Consequent encroachment has not been wicked in, so we're expecting a bounce from here. So overnight, what did we have? We had a limit order. And we had a limiter exactly at consequent encroachment. Little did we know it was going to work out very nice. And we actually took a play here. I got in here. By the time I got waked in, I was already asleep. So by the time I woke up, we were pretty much green for the day. Stop loss. In this case, stop loss was at consequent encroachment of this wick. The reason why I did it like that is because it was overnight. I wasn't going to manage the trade. So in reality, I was looking for more of a safer hit. So the stop loss will be this green line right here. And this guy right here is now the hit. So confluence here on this specific area is the fact that we were accumulating this whole time. And while we were accumulating, that's exactly what I want to see when I enter these positions. I want accumulation to happen at these finals entries off the 5-minute frequency. Moving on to the NQ, the same exact setup. There's something very important here. On this specific location, as we know, it's almost the final one. There's another one here, but there's no fair value gap here off the 5-minute. What do we have here? We have something very important. We have a 5-minute fair value gap right here. Very, very tiny. This specific location. This is where we expected a bounce as well. I had another limit order set here. There's something else that's very important. At the time when ES, the S&P 500 was chopping and accumulating, there is something important in this specific area on NQ. Moving on to the 15-minute time frame, we're going to go ahead and see that on this specific zone, there's nothing here at the bottom, right? There's a fair value gap here. But on this specific section here, we know that there is a fair value gap here that has not been mitigated. Other than that, what do we have here? The accumulation that was happening. We had an accumulation. But the reason why we never entered here, or I specifically never entered here, was because there's a 5-minute down here, which means there's more liquidity down here that price action needs to grab. So I did have a limit order here, but as you guys can see, it respected the 15-minute, never came down to this 5-minute here for a long position. And the reason why it didn't is because our confluence here was the fact that ES was already at its final bottom already. So at that point, if it was already a sell side, the way I play this is there's no need for NQ to come down to this 5-minute. It's going to leave it for another day. And as we saw here, we nailed it. Precision entry here on ES, and there was no need for it to drop again. Reason why is because if it dies from here, it's most likely going to continue on a downtrend, right? So at that point, this was a flawless entry. I did run out of trims. I went ahead, I got in with this guy, but I got out somewhere around this guy right here, somewhere around here, and I took out my full profit. The reason why was because it was overnight, but by the time I woke up, I was still not out, and I just went ahead and took full profit here. I did happen to jump back in on NQ, and I jumped in here. Where was it at? Right here on this specific section here. The reason why I jumped in this specific section is because what do we have here? We have a bull trend. We have not had a market structure shift, and there's really hasn't been actual bounces, right? So in this case, why counter the trend when you can just continue with the trend? So dropping down to the 5-minute, what do we have here? We have something very specific in this area. We have a break of structure here to the upside, which was there's a fair value gap. But in this specific area here, the reason why we do not choose, or I specifically do not choose this fair value gap, even though it was a profitable trade, I did not choose this area due to the fact that the break of structure is all the way up here. This candle was the one that broke structure. So in this case, there's no reason for me to enter here. That's the way I play. That's the way my rules are, and I do not see it, right? So that's the reason why this guy got mitigated. But at the end of the day, I ended up entering somewhere around, where was it? Can't remember where I entered, but I entered somewhere around here. I just can't remember where it was, but oh my goodness, was it on ES? What? Let's just ignore that trade for right now. Sorry. But moving on forward, let's go ahead and talk about this specific section. We talked about the final fair value gap here, right? So this was the final one. There's nothing more at the end. If it dies from here, that means we're going to see some downside. Let's go back into this mountain right here. On this specific mountain here, what do we have here on the 5-minute? We have here a 5-minute fair value gap here. There's nothing above, which means that if price action wants to go up further up, it's going to target whatever's up here on the left side, right? Up on these sections. So what do we do here? We go ahead and we look for the 5-minute fair value gap, something that has not been mitigated, and we extend it to enter consequent encroachment. There is a reason why on this specific area we took shorts here, but there's also a reason why I went ahead and I only took 2 contracts here. I took 2 contracts here because I was actually on a gold trade as well at the same time, but at the same time, I was actually in longs while trying to short it at the same time. So by the time I got out of longs, I entered a 2 contract position here. Started position due to the fact that I was in a gold trade. I had already cashed out 300 on the same exact time I was on this account. And we got wicked in here. I was hedging against myself due to the fact that it was a bull trend. I was countering the trend, and we ended up hitting pretty much a good hit here. However, I actually got stopped out at 100 ticks, I believe. It was, I took profit at 50 ticks. Then my stop loss got moved at break even. I got wicked out at break even for my second contract, so I took profits at 50 ticks here. So this was a good trade, and this was one of the first trades I wanted to take throughout the day. The reason why I was very skeptical at the end was just the fact that I had already cashed out 300 bucks on a gold trade. So when I entered here, I wanted to just play with profits. We got wicked in with 2 contracts. It ran down to 100 to 80 something ticks. I trimmed at 50, second contract, got stopped out. So at the end of the day, I never entered again. So that was just one of the trades. And as you guys can see, it is the final 5-minute fair value gap here, right? After this time, I was still bearish. I mean, I was bullish, but I was looking for the market structure shift. That's what I really want. And this is one of the losses I took today. And I've pretty much fucked up really hard. And the reason why I fucked up here was because I actually never used my strategy the way I was supposed to. I never went back to NQ at this specific time to actually look for my confluence. So what did I do here? As price action was coming in on this specific section here, I went ahead and I called this guy the market structure shift, right? And even though this guy was not a market structure shift, I pretty much went against my rules. So meaning that by that, I'm talking about wrong section. Sorry. Where was it at? Yeah, it was right here. I went ahead and I entered my position right here. I believe it was at that time, 10:15. Nope, I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. Right here. This low right here. As you guys can see, this guy right here at the bottom is not a market structure shift. This guy right here is not considered a market structure shift due to the fact that it never broke these lows down here. So I got fooled. I think I just really wanted to get in a trade. I do not know why. I pretty much fucked up here due to the fact that this was not a market trade. This is just an internal swing. When it dropped so low, I figured it was going to come back, grab this guy right here, and then continue to the downside, and I messed up, right? This guy right here was not the market structure shift. Coming down to ES, that's the reason why I messed up. Right here. This is actually trade I took right here. I thought I was on ES the whole time. We had a market structure shift here, which was not a market structure shift. The low here never got broken. And when this guy didn't get broken, I figured that, hey, it's going to want to grab this consequent encroachment fair value gap and then continue to the downside. But I actually took a loss here. And the reason for that was because I used an internal low rather than using what I normally use, the external low. If this candle would have broke with momentum, it should have came down lower. At that point, it should have came up to the fair value gap and then continue for a break of structure. But I messed up and I used this guy, which means that this guy at that specific time was not a market structure shift. So that's the reason why I took the loss. So lesson of the day for me here was the fact that do not use your internals. Lesson of the day here as well was look at your confluence. I took the short on ES. This is NQ right here. There's no market structure shift. This is just accumulation for continuation to the upside, right? Came down into fair value gap, continued to the upside. What do we have here? We had a small drop. Figured this was a drop that the fair value gap was going to reject from. It came down, but it never actually broke structure to the downside, which means accumulation to the upside. The trend is still bullish. So that was one of the losses I took today. Something I want to talk about next is another trade that we took at the end of the day. The same style we entered here. Why did we enter off of this fair value gap in the beginning? Is because it was we entered it on NQ, not here on ES. But the reason why this one got mitigated and overpowered by this one is because off of this whole section here, this mountain that's coming on the downside, this downtrend, we have this final fair value gap here. The same way we found this guy down here is the same way we look for this entry. So what do we have here? We have a final fair value gap here. At the same time, what do we have here as a confluence? What do we expect from the trade earlier? We wanted accumulation. We wanted our price action to come into our entry accumulating. We don't want high momentum. We want accumulation. As price action was going into our entry point, it was so slow to the point that it wicked us in. When it wicked us in a consequent encroachment. We never got stopped out, and then we saw pretty much green. So the thing about here today was the fact that when price action was trying to break this low here, I went ahead, I trimmed one at 20 ticks, I trimmed one at 30, went back up, came back down, trimmed another one at 30, went back up, came back down, trimmed one again at 30, went back up, came out, and at this point, I had 6 contracts at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got out right here. So I trimmed all my contracts at 30. At the end of the day, as you guys can see, it was already at the end of the day. I was done looking at the screen, so I took full profit here, and my target was consequent encroachment, and we ended up hitting it at the end of the day. So unfortunately, this was an awesome play. However, it took forever to just die. I guess price action today was just pretty shitty at this time, but I'm very glad that we took pretty much a really good sniper entry here, and we followed our rules, right? On NQ, exact same thing. What do we have here? Price action has now come down here, went back up, rejected from this 15-minute, right? It never made it to the 5-minute. So at this point, we do not take longs here due to the fact that 5-minute never got hit. So what do we look for on this specific section? We have the 5-minute fair value gap that got rejected, which we never took, right? We only took 2 contracts right here to the downside, which was 287 ticks profit. But what do we look here? We're looking at the left side. What do we have on this specific area? We have a 5-minute fair value gap here, right? On this 5-minute fair value gap, where is our stop loss? A couple ticks above the candle. Where was my stop loss? Consequent encroachment of this liquidity. I ignored this guy due to the fact that if price action really is going to go all the way up there, it was going to go up there with momentum. So I put my stop loss right here. I'm going to go ahead and change it to red. Entry was a consequent encroachment off of this 5-minute. Moving on here, what do we have? we have an entry point at consequent encroachment. So same setup as earlier, the one that we took when we went to sleep is the exact same setup we have here. This was a beautiful trade, 63 tick stop loss for exchange of a break of structure, right? We want to break a structure all the way to the bottom. And what did we get? We got a break of structure at how many ticks? At 191 tick. This was a very, very profitable trade. Entry was pretty much sniper entry. We saw red for a tiny bit. Next thing you know, we saw green, never came back. You trim at 50 ticks, stop loss, break even, and you just let them run. What do we have here? We have a fair value gap. We expect a rejection resistance here. We expect rejection. Came back down, did some consolidation, internal low, went back up, failed to break the highs, meaning there's no more higher highs. In this case, we need to break the structure. What do we have? At the end of the day, we broke structure, and then pretty much the day ended. So those were the trades of the day today. Let me go ahead and talk about this gold one. This gold one right here. Why did we enter this trade? At this time, we came up here, we came to a specific section here. When we rejected from here, we had a liquidity hit here. I pretty much kind of wanted to see consequent encroachment to the upside. I never took this trade. It was just, I was live with Jay, and he's the one that took this trade. He took 30 ticks profit here. What do we have here? We had a break of structure. We broke these lows. The candle that broke the low closed below the line. In this case, this fair value gap is valid. Also, did this candle leave a fair value gap? Yes, it did. It left a bearish fair value gap right here. So what do we have? We alerted this guy on Discord. Entry was a consequent encroachment. Our tick was a couple ticks above this high. And our entry here, or at least my specific target, was consequent encroachment off of this fair value gap. This is what I really wanted. I wanted the upside, come back down, and then take off. As you guys can see, it actually did not happen that way. But I ended up taking profit at 30 ticks. So we took a good set here. And this was the trade on gold today.
Very nice. Very nice. You know, I definitely like how you have your setup, you know, all ready to go, thought out. It's already on your chart. So whether you're awake or asleep, if it gets hit, it gets hit.
Yep.
And you are in. That is very uncommon for many traders. Normally we like to just be in front of the chart to manage it ourselves, but there's something to be said for not doing such a thing, for allowing your plays to actually play out, to allow them to play without interference, which for those of you, you know, who are relatively new, being able to trust your strategy implicitly, whereas you get in, you don't even worry about the trade anymore. Very difficult, but once you get there, it is an incredible feeling. And I'm sure Dubster can share all about that, where he takes a play and his stop loss is wherever it's at, and he walks away. He goes away and goes and does something else, expecting that this will bring him profits. So
yeah, that's true. I do walk away from my area.
yeah, ballsy. I like it, but ballsy. So
let me go ahead and show something real quick though.
Sure.
Just to answer Lima's question earlier, or you know how we were talking about if options would have the same strategy set up. So this is an options play, but at the same time, on this specific options play here, you'll see that sell side liquidity got rated here. And then we took a market structure shift to the upside, which means that when this candle broke to the upside, we expected upwards momentum due to the fact that sell side liquidity got grabbed, right? You do not enter this trade because this is a high that was recently created before this guy broke structure. So since this was a high, yes, we expect the fair value gap to be within and then continue to the upside, even though the rule says that after 10 a.m. you take the upside. I called this guy a risky entry, and then we had a break of structure here. The candle broke and closed above the line, which means the break of structure. We left the fair value gap, so we enter at consequent encroachment to the upside, right? So on this specific day, when you're trading on futures, you actually have the same exact setup and you do the exact same thing. So if your strategy works really well on futures and you still want to trade options, just figure out the same exact setups and you can still consider the same exact entries on options as well. Just make sure that if you play on Microsoft, for example, you back test the strategy on Microsoft because these charts actually move differently. So even though they kind of stay similar, these guys will move different than Tesla. It will have a complete, so a market structure shift would have a different meaning here than it will on Microsoft or NQ any SPY. So I personally have traded my strategy on ES and NQ off the 5-minute frequency on specific rules. The candle has to break above, it has to close above the line, and it has to leave a fair value gap or there's no entry, right? So if those rules are not met, you don't enter. As you guys can see, I actually did not follow those rules today, and I didn't follow it due to the fact that I got blind and I used an internal rather than using the external one in this case, right? So I took a loss due to that reason. So whenever you have these rules and you want to try a different strategy or the same strategy on a different stock, make sure that you at least go a couple days behind and you start back testing everything, right? So if you don't back test it on this chart, you can go ahead and one day it's going to work, but then the next day it's going to fuck you up pretty hard. So just something to keep in mind. If you do have a strategy that works on one chart, just back test it on that specific chart that you also want to trade. And if it's just an impulse on that day, just because you want to trade Apple and it looks good, that's a gamble at that point. So don't expect that to write that strategy saying that, oh, it was a bad strategy for Apple when you just took it as a gamble. So that does not count as a stat.
Yeah, and so kind of the reason why these strategies will not work on a specific stock like Microsoft, Apple, Tesla is because you have an additional factor to take into consideration called business risk. So what is business risk? Well, that is where you now are hoping that the company is in good standing publicly, right? If there is an active lawsuit against the company, that is a no-go. That will tank your trade no matter where it is, because it is on that company specifically. Now, when you're trading ES, NQ, SPY, QQQ, there's nothing like that. If one company does bad, the rest of the sector can pull it up, and the rest of the index can pull it up as well. So that is why it works on the collective, but not on the individual.
Yep. Just trying to see how this setup would have worked on QQ today on the shorts that we took. I'm gonna show you guys how different but similar it looks. Look at that. So you would have had the short position here. Stop loss on options would have been here. And at this point, you should have never been stopped out break you at a loss due to the fact that you took some profit here. Let's say it didn't hit your goal. I mean, if you're looking for a break of structure, you never got it for sure. So maybe, yeah, you took a loss, but at this point, you should have been what, maybe 20% up on this trade? Somewhere around there. So this would have been the trade that we took the shorts on and on NQ. So this is how it would look. Same exact setup, just it looks a bit different.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, your entry at the time is the exact same. It's merely just on a different security. So that's all that it is.
Damn,
all right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and tag along with NQ.
All right. What up, guys? What up, JR, H, Nate?
Yeah, what up, guys?
What's up, dudes?
What's up, man?
What's up?
Nate, where were you during the lunch macro?
Where were you?
You know, I was watching it, but it didn't look that big. It was real tiny.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that I didn't know if that meant you don't do it or
No, that just means stay away.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it doesn't look right, stay away.
Okay.
Trust
Yeah.
me. So on news days, especially, there are a few instances like a couple of days before non-farm payroll, week of non-farm payroll, things don't exactly print as they should,
Right.
given the anticipation for non-farm payroll. So tomorrow we're gonna see an incredible movement,
Dang.
just absolute ridiculous movement, and then
Yeah.
we'll go from there. But because of that, price does not move as we would normally see.
Okay.
Shall we?
But 4TP did hit after hours.
It did. It did indeed.
Yeah, I actually got in a trade on oil. Rode that thing up with 10 minis.
Oh my God.
Crude oil.
But I trimmed.
You trimmed?
Yeah.
That's a first.
Look, I know. I'm just as stunned as everyone else here. Believe me. Yes. Okay, I'm pretty sure. All right. Today we did a lot, we made a lot, and we learned a lot. And the learning came at a very, very, very painful lesson to me. So, what is that lesson exactly? That lesson was, even if I'm not at my computer, I need to make sure I take profit, stop loss, everything set in stone prior to. Because if not, it's just gonna mess with me and just be a bad time. And unfortunately, had a mishap when we were all about to enter short. Found out real quick that this space bar reverses your position. So we might have started out the position short and ended up wanting to go long, apparently.
No way.
Yep. But I hadn't noticed that because my monitors had turned off, gone to sleep, whatever. And in that instance, I had just pressed the spacebar to get everything back. Yeah, apparently that reversed my position, which is fine. You know what? It was a lesson to learn as I get more and more familiar with TradingView and trading on TradingView. So, in addition to that, let's go ahead and walk through the plays. All righty. So today we actually had quite a few plays. First one was right up here. Okay. We caught this one to the upside. This was while we were trading options, but I thought it'd be nice to mix in some futures and, really help those who want to understand trading futures, what it's like. Those of you who were in live trading with me saw that I was reversing my position a bit. Things got very, very wicky. So we took a little bit of a loss on the day and quickly made it back and some, all in one play. Now, doing such a thing, again, very risky. So this was the first main play. Now, why did I cut it off here? I was in with 6 minis. I needed to begin to learn how to trim more and to really manage my risk. So I understand that in wanting to hold the position more, it does lead me to get a little bit more greedy. So I force myself, you know what? At a logical place to exit a play, I either trim or exit the play and leave it as such. I don't try to reverse it and I don't try to add on because I'm already neck deep in minis. So that would just not be right. Next, believe this play right down here. No. Yeah, Dubster. This was the play that we took that I reversed on. Now, this one right here was a play that I had expected. We hit the top of the we hit top of the 1 hour fair value gap and came back down. So that was why we had entered the position. Now, where did I see the position ending? I was targeting the fair value gap. Stop loss was going to be around 10 bars above. I wanted to give myself a little bit of room to play, and 10 bars was more than enough. So why did we want to target this fair value gap? Well, if you see yesterday, we came straight through, no retracement, no nothing. This thing was on a mission to deliver price to the sell side without interruption. Well, today we had quite a bit of interruption, but we wanted to see price be delivered in a similar manner. So instead of it dropping, off the charts at the open, we had a slow grind up pre-market from New York Open, the retracement, and then it took off. Now, why was this fair value gap important? Well, this one is important because this serves as either to be support or resistance. Normally, when you have a fair value gap, such as this, on a higher time frame, such as the 1 hour, you preserve it. You're actually able to reuse it. So this is a classic support turns resistance and resistance turns support. So we see that this fair value gap turned resistance at first and then turned to support, right? So we have where it is resistance, popped up and dropped, which we won't count as running through the fair value gap because it did it with such speed and did not stay above. So we wanted to see a return back to the fair value gap, and now we want to see the fair value gap act as support because it was previously resistance, which gives us way to find more liquidity to the top, and that's where we want to target is this next 1 hour for value gap. But first off, we want to target up here just under 16,100. All right, but let's go back into the actual candle. So we took 1, 2, and then this position right here, I initially wanted to take shorts. Hit the space bar on accident, not knowing what that would have done. And that position quickly turned into this. So in this play, I was actually in with 8 minis, which decimated my profits from today. And actually the day before, since I did not trade on the account, and for actually quite some time. So overall was a great lesson to learn. Am I happy that it happened? Hell no. But could it have been worse? Absolutely. Absolutely, that could have been a hell of a lot worse. And I'm just glad that it wasn't. And I got back in time to A, almost have a fucking aneurysm, and B, to close it out and try to and make back some of my losses.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask where was your stop loss, but got out on time, I guess. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got out right around here. But 30 bars over 100 ticks with 8 minis, not good.
Not your favorite play.
No. No. Because here's the funny part. I actually hit the reverse button again. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
nice.
Yeah. So that was mistake number 2. Then
Oh.
I just hit exit all positions and said, okay, let's
Regroup.
restart. Let's forget life happened for a moment. Let's try this again. Because that was fucked. And so I turned what would have been a really terrible loss into a good lesson. But also at that point, it was time for me to sit out. And even though I saw opportunities to make more money, I decided that it was time to not. So just because I know myself that I will go on tilt, and if I just keep trading, I will burn the fuck out of my account.
Right.
Trying to reclaim 1,000 or 2 back, which, you know what, in the grand scheme of all of this, if it's 1,000 or 2, it could have been worse. So 1,000 or 2 is when you are leveraged in, not a large play. So, moral of the story, I actually felt pretty embarrassed like that shit happened, because I was like, damn, I was ready to cash all this out. Now it's like, okay, well, you know what? It's a blessing that the account didn't get burned and I didn't lose so much that it was inconceivable to get back on a timely manner.
Right.
But seeing as how that could have turned into something much worse, I was like, you know what? We've already been here. We've already done that. This is not time to go back. Because, yeah, we have. I can't tell you how many times I've been on tilt, and I will do 100 trades in one day.
Oh, that sounds like me.
Right?
That sounds like me.
You know what? But
It's like, I know I can get it back.
right? But it goes to show that you can go from that mindset and say, you know what is the worst that happens? I sit out the rest of the day and I keep what I have.
Right.
Or I continue to risk more when I'm not in the right headspace to even be trading. So I was like, you know what, let's go with option number 2. I like option number 2. And actually I was muted, but I was on work calls and I was like, thank God I'm distracted by work at the moment and cannot trade. Because if I was not, this could be bad news bears. But
So
that
you're
was
not a computer.
yeah. Well, so it's funny because I have my work computer and my personal computer side by side, and they share monitors. So that is lethal because I also work from home.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it can get bad quick if you don't catch it. And truthfully, it's taken me a very long time to get to the point where I will pull myself off the charts.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm living proof that it is possible. So that was my lengthy discussion about how I fucked up my account. Plan to get it back, but also, we did take some good trades, but also how one mistake can erase all of your previous gains.
Yeah.
So, also, in addition to that, when I trade now, I have it programmed where it's an automatic take profit stop loss regardless. There is not another play where I just buy or sell at a limit price. No, it needs to be a full bracket order
Oh, okay.
for me to enter a trade. Yeah. Naked trades not good. Will not do it anymore. Just because you can't afford to, right? Like take the extra second, lose the one bar of price,
Right.
and create a safer play so that you can enjoy the profits when you get them. And if the play runs against you, so be it.
You're safe.
Yeah. Scalp King, sir. Scalping is my pastime. I used
Welcome
to
in,
scalp the
Lucas.
fucking icing off cake. All right.
That is true.
Yes, sir.
You used to scalp nonstop.
Yeah. Like you can have me, Happy Mango, and Dubster in a call. Dubster's like working on like a really nice elongated play.
Right.
And you hear me and Mango, oh yeah, we're
in, we're out.
here. We're gonna
Yeah.
wait for that like 10 tick retracement. Okay, yeah, now we're back in.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just in the background like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm literally waiting for one play setup and these guys are in already with their 7th trade of the day or something.
Dude, it is stupid. Let me tell you. Like, it is not worth it by any sense of the term. I promise you. Because when you start trading like that and you start leveraging in, that's even worse.
Right.
Because then you get commissions. Commission per contract will ruin your profits. You will have nothing left. Because you will have spent it all on buying and selling your positions.
Fantastic. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be like that, Tommy. It really do. Like it sucks to show up for like a work meeting and they ask if I'm stoned.
So I'm actually gonna go over my pre-market setup strategy. Tommy was just asking to see if we can go ahead and do the routine that we take. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys the routine I take, the approach I do during pre-market hours. All right. Okay. So what I normally do is I normally go directly into the weekly for rally gap. And the reason why I look directly into the weekly for rally gap, I want to see if there's anything important. For example, this high right here, I want to see if there's a for rally gap here, which we already rejected from a couple days ago. And anything else that's important, I want to look at buy side liquidity. But in this case, today, I actually did not see anything important. The weekly is here. We already rejected off consequent encroachment. If we were going to break these low, I consider that death. But I didn't really chart anything here today, right? So I ignored the weekly today's chart. I dropped down to the 1 hour. The first thing I do on the 1 hour, let's go ahead and just chart for tomorrow, for example. There's still something important. I always look at pre-market. That changes everything. But just for sakes right now, what I do is on the 1 hour, I do this guy right here, daily high. And then I instantly go to the bottom part of the candle and I draw my straight line here. Daily low. Simple as that. And I color chart my thing. So I know that any white line is a daily, so I don't have to look for what the hell it means. I already know that off the bat, right? Anything important, I know that if it drops down the daily, for example, if we break the highs tomorrow, and we have a continuation to the upside, I will not be bearish until market structure. So I will continue breakout structures and I will continue to long the trend until market structure shift. Then I short. Other than that, I will not short unless there's a 5-minute for rally gap on top of here, right? That's a different story. But this is literally what I have right here. I looked at the bottom. There's a fair value gap. We already got it off the weekly consequent encroachment. There's buy side liquidity, but at this point, we're going to have to see how pre-market works. I automatically jump down to the 4 hours. And I look for really good entry points, or not entry points, but good for rally gaps. In this case, there's a for rally gap here and there's a for rally gaps here. So I simply just chart them and I want to look for confluences off the 1 hour. So the reason why I look for confluences is because off the 1 hour, we already know that if there's a for rally gap here off the 4 hour and there's another one in the 1 hour and there's another one on the 50-minute and then the 5-minute, I automatically will take a long position if we're bear from the trend. Their reason why is that I have so many things like consequent encroachment from higher time frames, meaning it's most likely to bounce, right? But I always expect that. So I go ahead and I would chart this guy. I also chart this guy right here, and I would just pay attention to what's going on. So we know that brown is 4 hours, but at this moment, these are not secure. I'll go ahead and erase them depending on how the lower time frame looks. We have daily low, daily high. I don't look at anything else, not until sell side liquidity over here. If the market was down here, I pay attention to this guy. However, we are up here right now, so we're expecting possibly a bull run depending on how pre-market looks, right? I then drop down to the 1 hour. As soon as we see the 1 hour, I want to see what's inside the 4 hour for rally gaps. I have nothing here on the 4 hour for rally gap, so I automatically don't have a higher time frequency confluence. I erase that guy. I have a 1 hour for rally gap here, and I have a tiny 1 hour for rally gap, which we bounce. So I automatically erase this guy and I do not pay attention. So I focus now on this guy right here. I drop this guy to the bottom. What do we have here? We have this swing high. That's another very important area, right? So at this point, I know I have a swing high. I have a for rally gap off the 4 hour. I have a 1 hour for rally gap. Now this guy gets turned into a blue chart, a blue rectangle. And I put 1 hour for rally gap. Is there anything else that's important here for me? At this very moment, there isn't. So I still got to wait for pre-market. So at this point, I would drop down to the 50-minute and I look for confluences here. So what do we have here? We have a 1 hour for rally gap, a 4 hour for rally gap, and now we have a 15-minute for rally gap. So I go ahead and I shorten down. Reason why I like this for more of a sniper entry. So now this guy gets pretty much deleted. And I draw like this guy as a 15-minute for rally gap. I change my color now, knowing that this is a 15-minute for rally gap. And I have so many confluences. I have 4 hour, 1 hour, and the 15-minute. What do I look for now? I look for breakout structures. I want these liquidities. I look for this guy. I look for these guys. These are targets I want to target if we have a market structure shift to the downside. These are my targets. This guy right here is also another target. However, this is the 50-minute, and that's the reason why these guys are very, very valuable. So I target all of these, so I pay attention to what's going on in the specific zones. What else do we have on top? We have nothing but liquidity up here, buy side liquidity. And if we were to break these highs during pre-market, then I start paying attention to this high right here, which is a buy side liquidity. And then I start paying to what's up here. What do we know here on this top side? We know that we have a massive fair value gap here off the 15-minute frequency. That consequent encroachment has now been hit. So I will note this down until we know that we reach this zone. But as of right now, I do not bother paying attention up here. I like to stay around the area, and I just focus on a specific zone. So we currently have 15-minute fair value gap, daily low, daily high. We have a fair value gap here off the 15-minute, but we also have very much liquidity down here. So let's go ahead and I would draw this zone out. All right, dropping down to the 5-minute, I then inspect and I try to see what's more valuable. I will not respect this guy. I automatically cancel the 15-minute due to the fact that there's a 5-minute fair value gap here, but there's another one right here. So I will go ahead and concentrate on this guy rather than concentrate on this specific guy. And the reason why is because this is a large liquidity. So if we were to have a market structure shift, it's most likely going to run to this guy, possibly do a small bounce, come down here, and then continue to the upside. If you were to pay attention to this massive wick here, off of the fair value gap on this specific area, we have a liquidity, and the consequent encroachment from there will probably be around this area. Another thing here, we have a 5-minute fair value gap here that already got mitigated, so we do not focus there. We have liquidity here, but what else do we have? On this specific zone, we have a 15-minute fair value gap, a 4-hour, 1-hour, 50-minute, and now we have a 5-minute. We have two. We got this guy and this guy. Pay attention to what's on the left side. I pay attention to what broke structure, which candle broke structure, and I pretty much draw a line over it. I know this candle was the fair value gap, so I do not ignore this guy. I also do not ignore this guy. I will still pay attention to this guy right here. So in situations like these, I pay attention to how price action is actually moving. If price action were to come directly with momentum into my entry, that's a big no-no, right? But what do we want? We want to see accumulation actually happening, some consolidation as it goes into an entry before it starts to take off. That's exactly what I want to see. But in this case, we don't know which one to choose, right? We have two confluences here. We have this guy and this guy. I would not ignore this one, meaning that this guy is the final one from this specific trend. If we want to go lower, this is the next one, and there's nothing at the bottom. But these guys have nasty liquidity. So in reality, will I like to take the upwards position? I would not, because we have so much liquidity and big giant wicks on these specific areas, but I would not ignore this fair value gap for a quick retracement because that is a high possibility. So what I do is, instead of entering a consequent encroachment here, stop loss here, I actually point both of them and I grab the consequent encroachment off of this one. So you have a median point off of both fair value gaps, and I would rather entry here for a long position based on how price action is looking. And I would not ignore this liquidity as a stop loss. As we know, this guy comes down here. As you guys can see, this is a 97 tick stop loss. What I do is I enter some at 0.5, one at 1, and then I enter a couple here, and then I will enter my final full position down here. And at the very end, my average should move somewhere around here. My stop loss will be around 50 ticks or so. And that's how I end up with this entry. If price action comes down to consequent encroachment or this medium point here, and it grabs my only starters, I eliminate everything else and I'll take my profit with starters and I won't take the risk, right? Because if it comes back down, at that point, it's most likely going to die. So that's pretty much how I eliminate that section. One thing that we cannot see right now that it's not happening is that, let's go ahead and look at the zones. I always pay attention to the zone. So for example, this is how we're looking at things. Let's say this was today. We woke up tomorrow in the morning. I specifically look at Tokyo and London. What do we have here? We have pre-market lows. What do we have here? London lows were here, but in this specific area, we have, Asia lows or Tokyo lows were here, but we have London lows in this specific area. So I would mark this tomorrow as pre-market low. And then I would look for the pre-market highs. I specifically ignore anything above 8 a.m. That's considered New York time for me. So I automatically will look for a pre-market high like this. And then this will be considered my buy side liquidity rate. After buy sell liquidity is raid, and after 10 a.m. in the morning, that's when I start looking for entry zone for a specific sell side target. So that's what I will look for tomorrow. Pre-market high, pre-market low, and anything else, we already know that we have everything that's important for us. So in this specific area, I personally would like to see Tokyo do its final run up to the upside. And then tomorrow we start targeting these guys right here. These are massive liquidity hits. So I would like to look for a market structure shift and continue bears. That's what I would like to see, but I won't have a biased opinion until pre-market highs and pre-market lows tomorrow in the morning.
So it's interesting you say that. I would actually like for Asia and London to start driving to the sell side. So then New York, the pre-market can drive to the buy side.
Buy side.
Because I have a feeling I know exactly where non-farm payroll is going to hit.
Yeah.
I have a feeling exactly where it's going to hit, and it's on a 4-hour fair value gap at the very bottom of NQ. Grab the second one. Grab the second fair value gap off the bottom. Right there.
This guy?
Right there. Bottom of that. Because let's say we run the buy side, and remember, it's always twofold with non-farm payroll. Always. You get 2 hits, right?
Yeah.
One hit is the short one, and this will be, and I think the short one's going to be to the top, since we're so close to that liquidity that a run up would send everybody short, because naturally a run up before earnings, a run up before any event is indication of large institutions getting out and the entrance of retail, meaning they want to go short. But if you did that in this case, you would also see a nice 15-minute fair value gap right at the bottom with liquidity just above that ends just inside the 4-hour fair value gap on the 15-minute chart. And you can target a little lower as well. So you have the 5-minute, you have that BISI that you're looking at. You're looking also at the liquidations. Yep.
And then you have these guys right here.
Yep. Which is why I think we'll take sell side tonight. Some of it. Take the large run up of today, retrace it by 50%. That's what we're taking tonight. So and that comes down perfectly to a 1-hour fair value gap, takes out some liquidity, comes right back to almost where we opened for market today. And then we run the highs, or we come down to, I don't know. I like the 50%. It aligns very well with what's going on, but again, it's tough. It's tough to see. So.
Oh yeah, well, that's pretty much what I look for, guys. That's the way I chart, and those are the charts I normally try to post on the Discord, like pre-market hours. So if you guys ever have a question, you're looking at the pre-market charts and don't understand what the fuck's going on, because it's kind of hard to get everything in there, right? So in the end, what I normally do, instead of going on the 5-minute and showing you guys everything, because I can't catch everything, I normally just try to go into the 15-minute, and if I can zoom out and you guys can see everything, I'll take a picture. I believe, for example, on this specific day, right here, what do we have? We have previous day high, buy sell liquidity, pre-market high, 4-hour breaker bullish, pre-market low, 15-minute for rally gaps. What do we have here on this specific area? I marked out that there's a 5-minute for rally gap, not the final one. Why? Because I want the final one down here. So what do we have here in this specific area? This is the 15-minute. Let's drop down so you guys can see. I always marked out those little details because what do we have here? This means that this can be a rejection, but it's not telling me that it's not 100%. That's what it's telling me. So always be detailed with your stuff. In this specific area, what do we have here? As always, never ignore the tiny ones. I've learned that the hard way. So I don't ignore them no more. And I don't care how small they are. At this point, I would prefer this guy over this guy. And I'll show you guys the power of that right now. There's something here at the bottom, but we're looking at this specific trend. This is where the bull run started. So we're specifically looking at this guy. We're gonna put this guy's pink so you guys can see. What do we do on this guy? We had a small retracement, came back down, grabbed this little tiny one, and then it took off. So never ignore the small ones. Don't judge. It will fucking take off at that point. So as you guys can see, this was the bull run. This is, however, a swing high as well. This is a bull run that broke structure here to the upside. So we do have this 5-minute for rally gap. And this also will not get ignored. And it already been played. I believe that's what we got played today or something. Yep, it already got played. So never ignore these small ones or these final ones. Just pay attention to what exactly happened on that specific trend. And as always, it took off, right? Small one right here, it took off. So just pay attention to that. Like as this specific area, this one gets mitigated. It already got played. There's no reason for you to pull this for rally gap to the outside, right? So I personally don't play them. Look at that. We would have taken a massive loss here. So don't play them if consequent approachment has been touched. I personally would rather miss the trade than lose the trade. So just so you guys know.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I always put little details like this. I put targets. Reason why I put targets is because I don't want to be biased to one direction. So I know we have a volume imbalance up here. So I want to target this. If the market structure shift is to the upside, target this guy. If the market structure shift is to the downside, feel free to target these guys. Like figure out what you want to target during pre-market. Where do you think it's gonna go? If pre-market sell side liquidity got raided or hunted, then it's probably gonna raid pre-market high. But let's say the market structure shift is to the downside. In this case, in this specific day, we did not have a market structure shift to the downside. I did not trade this day, but I did not trade based on the market structure shift strategy. I trade based on a different strategy, right? So that's just little details right here that you guys gotta have to figure out and find out. Like when you're charting, do your little notes because these notes will come in handy at some point. So that's just what I have to say.
Oh yeah. And as you chart more and more and more, and you start making all these little notes, you'll memorize it and you'll find these imbalances, these liquidity voids, these little setups, and they'll catch your eye real quick, and you'll notice it without even writing or drawing a bunch of things down. You'll just see it until you get to the point where you have nothing on your chart whatsoever, because you already see everything you have already written down.
Yep. Yeah, at first I would be very skeptical about deleting my drawings, like the previous day ones. I was scared. And I was scared because I feel like I was never gonna find it again. But now I really pretty much don't care. I normally just this is where I chart my pre-market stuff. So I delete everything and I start fresh. Every day, fresh. Repetition helps a lot.
I don't know why you're scared to delete the drawings. You have them in the Discord.
No, I'm talking about in the beginning. So
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't, like, I don't have nothing on the left side no more. Right.
gotcha.
I just didn't delete them today, but yeah, that's the whole point of the Discord. Right? I post them up, but see, I delete them every day. I now delete. I used to not delete them, but I have a full journal on the Discord, so no big deal.
Exactly. See,
Yeah.
like you're all set. But does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
I took a trade today.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Yeah. You know, it's the strategy that I've been working on. Uh,
Lucas, welcome.
Here we go. So, yeah, this is the play I took today. Um, it took very long to play out because I think it happened after market closed. Um, but yeah, I have a specific time zone that I look at, which is from, where did we go? Right here, which is from 12 to 1 o'clock to these red lines. This time zone or time frame right here, I check or I find the highs and lows created in this zone. And we have a high right here. So I marked it out. And then we have a low right here and I marked it out. And then I wait for one of these to get rated, either buy side liquidity to be rated or sell side liquidity to be rated. And I enter off that and target opposing liquidity. So as we can see, we rated buy side liquidity. So I targeted opposing liquidity, which would be sell side down here. Yeah, don't worry about all these. I was just fucking around. Anyways, so as we can see, we and I only look for an entry after 1 o'clock. So after this time frame right here, I look for entries. I don't look for entries inside of it. I wait until after 1 and then look for an entry. So as we can see, we rated buy side liquidity and I entered right off us going through it and I targeted the opposing liquidity. On this one, the first raid we get or the first push through liquidity we get, I always put my stop loss at the top of it. So this is what it would look like. And then we came down and we would come back up. Usually we would come back more into break even, but today we decided not to. So that was pretty cool to see. Um, yeah, usually we would come back down, come back up, dig into it a little bit more, and then I would move my stop loss down to that high. But as we can see, we didn't do that. We had good momentum right after breaking it, and we were in profit crazy. Yeah, we were up 147 ticks on this trade, but as you can see, I never trimmed. You can see I bought or I sold, got in for shorts here, and I sold right here. So I never took any trims in this whole area, and we were up 147 ticks, and that's a lot. Most people
That's rad.
would trim right here. Um, Usually they would trim around 100 or so, but like I've been saying in the past, recaps, I never trim, and which led to me taking full TP with full position, which was a fat bag. Um, Anyways, yeah.
And then the last 2 days, it didn't do it.
Yeah, the last few days it hasn't done it.
Mhm.
So it didn't do it 2 days in a row. And then today
Good
we
for you.
finally got the market was nice to us today, finally. Um
Oh yeah.
but I mean, on the other trades, I think I've been losing like, I would get stopped out at like 20 ticks, maybe 30. So this one win right here got all my profit back
Right.
from 2 trades losing and some profit or some money
You
too.
have to just keep doing it.
Yeah, man, if you look, you just got to keep going off one, well, just I focus on one trading strategy because
Right.
I know the consistency of it and how good it really is. So when I was losing, I wasn't really worried about it
Right.
because then you have one trade and you get all your money back and some
Right.
after losing two. So that's pretty good. I would rather lose two and make all my money back with one. That's a pretty good ratio, I feel
Right.
like. Um, but like I said though, this took forever. Like me and Dubs were just in live trading, just watching this for I don't even know, like 2 hours maybe, just watching this. And it was just terrible. But
Because those are 5-minute candles, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
these are 5-minute candles. So yeah, I think I left like around here somewhere. Let me see on the 1 minute. Yeah, I left around here and I told Dubs, I was like, listen, man, I'm just leaving, bro. I can't sit here and watch this any longer. And it ended up taking full TP after I left, which is
Did you
good.
move your stop loss down?
Well, I didn't honestly no, I kept
Okay.
my stop loss up here
Uh-huh.
because I didn't really know what I thought about this because usually it comes back in
Right.
to liquidity. So I didn't really know what to do here. I was kind of thinking what I could have done. I mean, I guess I could have dropped my stop loss down into profit to take some risk off, risk-free trade. Um, but
Or
yeah,
at least break even.
yeah, or I could go to break even, but I wouldn't want it to go to break even and then sell off like we did.
Right.
So I was kind of just letting it play out.
Because that's the trade.
Yeah, that is a trade. So I just let it play out and it worked out, which I'm really happy about.
I like that trade.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah.
And you weren't here, Nate.
I
Where you
know.
at,
I
One
man?
was
day you
like
don't show up.
the last 2 days.
He was there on time.
I know. I
Yeah,
was there. I was watching it and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look like yesterday or the day before. You know?
I think
Yeah,
Because this was
Never,
a
never
winning one.
again. Never again.
we're all kind of just wondering, like, hey, has anyone seen Nate?
I even tagged you. I even tagged you so you can come in.
Tur- you are turning into the new Casper.
Because I took shorts on this position. This is where I was on top.
yeah, he took shorts like up here. He had a way better.
16.065. That's where I got in on shorts.
Dude, I
Yeah,
can't. I love that trade.
I
And it
could
works
actually.
perfect for my hours.
I got in at 16.05550. Dubs got in way up here, but he was
Huh?
also looking for a fair value gap. So
And then it went past. What time did it go past or go up in?
it went in
Oh, at
at
220. Okay.
220 and ended at 4:30. So literally
Okay.
2 hours it took for this trade to play out.
Yeah, we were done.
I was
I got
so
out.
done, dude. I was like, geez, Louise, man.
Well, at least it worked out, right?
Yeah,
It
that's
did.
cool. I like that trade. And it's pretty simple,
Very simple.
which I
Just
which I need.
mark your high and your low, and
Yeah.
if one
Yeah.
gets rated, look for opposing.
Dude, that's rad.
I don't have all these colorful indicators or like
Mm-hmm.
all this other crap that
Stuff.
people be having.
Dubster. I
Humongous
don't have
arrows.
indicators though.
But I mean, it's definitely back to the Crayola effect.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Dubs used to be sponsored by Crayola.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look, you saw the rainbow every time you looked at his charts.
Funny.
That's rad though.
What up, Mango? Welcome in.
Welcome.
Hiya.
Up, yo.
Lucas,
Lucas.
howdy everyone, howdy.
Oh, any questions? Or,
No, I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
oh yeah?
Show
don't know,
up, man.
dude. The
Show
last-
up.
I'm gonna hold you
Last-
to it.
The last 2 days you showed up, the trade
I
didn't
know.
play out, man. I think you're
I was like, hey, does this thing even work?
Some
And one day
days.
he gets discouraged. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Nah."
and that's why I've traded this strategy for over, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe now.
Yeah.
I've been trading the same exact strategy, and this is the only trade I take a day.
Yeah,
I if I lose it, that's the only trade I take. I just
Right.
walk away
that's rad though.
and
That's awesome.
that was pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, that's all I have.
Nice.
That's all you need.
Anyone else?
Mango,
How
you got
many,
some trades?
Contracts did you do?
I did 20 minis on this.
Okay.
So
Right,
I don't know if
on
anybody
paper.
knows, but I've been trying to do like multiple accounts and I'm doing, right now I was just linking 2. And then when I do multiples of 2, so let's say 20, it goes 10 and 10. But then when I set the stop loss, it only shows 10 on the trading view. And then when it hits the stop loss, it only sells half. I'm just
Yep.
wondering what I need to do. Do I need to double that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you're gonna do like
Multiple.
5 and 5, so like
Uh-huh.
5 on one and 5 on the other, then and you want both accounts to have the same stop loss, it's been 10 on that on the
So your
on the
stop loss would
limit.
be double of what?
Yeah.
However many accounts. So if you have, if it shows, it needs to show double of whatever I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're in like 10 contracts total,
Mhm.
then your stop loss would be 10. So
Got
that
it.
it'll stop it out on 5 and 5.
Okay. Got it. It's just weird because I thought the stop loss would be the same because when the total number that I do, it splits it. So if I do 20, it splits it 10 and 10. So I just thought if I did a stop loss of 10, it would know to double it, but I guess not.
No,
Clearly
it does not know to double it. It does not know shit.
Yeah,
I
apparently.
promise you that.
Yesterday I woke up or whatever, I was talking to H and it was still going and it was down like $700.
Ah,
I'm like,
do
oh,
remember that.
okay, that's a lesson I need to learn.
it's when I learned real quick.
Yeah.
So I don't do that anymore.
Nope, not doing it anymore.
but yeah, this was a paper trade. So I would usually not go in with 20. I would
Yeah.
go in with 2 minis. But since
Okay.
I passed my eval and I
Right.
have to wait a couple of days to get my PA account,
Okay.
I've just been paper trading this whole week, which I'm glad I have because this
Right.
was NFP week and price action has just been all over the place.
But I really like that trade.
Thanks, man. Well, you
Yeah.
could have been in it. But
I
you
should
decided
have. I should have.
to not come in today, come into work today.
I didn't.
It's
I was
okay.
hiding in the corner. I was on my computer and I was like, oh, that doesn't look like the last couple days.
He hasn't
hiding
seen the
in the
win.
corner.
Yeah.
He was so used to watching the losses. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is how a losing trade looks.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Shit.
NFP comes out tomorrow, so it might be
Okay.
held tomorrow.
Okay.
That's-
Yeah. The
Tomorrow's a
first
good
half-
day to sit down.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a very good day not to trade.
That trade.
Yeah, tomorrow's
What?
gonna be
And
very
that's the only
any
time I get
trade.
to trade.
Well, I'm sorry for you, but I really am.
I mean,
Damn,
you can
I'm
pass an
alright.
account about half a second.
I've done it
during
before.
non-farm payroll, but here's the issue. It's fucking non-farm payroll.
Yeah.
Like,
Are we still doing full pot Fridays?
of course, of course. Lucas, who would we be if we did not? Come on.
True. That's the secret of passing accounts, right? Full pot
You know what?
Fridays.
Yes, it is a numbers game.
I mean,
Guys,
what's 50 bucks? What's 50 more bucks?
50.
guys, don't full
I-
port your funded account.
I
Don't
can-
listen to these
I
people.
can just imagine the reviews. How did you pass the count? Oh, it's Who Pot Friday. I passed it by then.
NFP
Yes.
days.
Man, I've done that and I didn't even full port.
Yeah, one of them will hit.
Exactly. Ooh.
Just
I
don't
think-
ask Wesley. He countered both sides.
Oh my God.
He got
Me boy.
penalized.
Me boy got absolutely wrecked.
Yo, look at this gap up. Oh my, geez, Louise, man. I did not even see that until now because we were.
Oh yeah. Switch to the December contract.
They just
You're an
need a
NQ one.
contract. Hey, look.
Ooh.
Makes a difference.
Uh,
There we go. No more
Uh.
gap up.
I'm just gonna stick to NQ, man. Not, well, obviously not. 'Cause why am I on the 1 day now? Look, man, I don't even know anymore. The healthcare has been going up. I was watching Yahoo Finance today, and they
Mhm.
were saying that healthcare was doing amazing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, if healthcare is doing good, then stock price will go up.
For
Well,
healthcare,
for
but
SPY at
healthcare
least.
and market health actually are opposites. So you have to think when do hospitals and healthcare providers do well? When do they really make money?
Pandemics.
Pandemics, when there's like a lot of when there's a market decline because people actually don't have as much money, can't afford medications, and they're sick more often. So that is when, yep, sick and dead people, absolutely. So that's when hospitals and healthcare providers do their best, and in times of war too. But that's different scenario. Now, if healthcare has rotated to growth, yes, Mango, yo trades.
I'm gonna dip
What?
from here, guys. I'll catch up with you guys later. I actually have to go.
See you, buddy.
Alright,
I'll
I'll
take
see you
it
guys in
easy,
the
man.
morning. Good stuff.
Peace,
today,
Dub.
okay? Peace.
Oh, Mango, do you have any trades that you would like to go over? That you took
Excuse
today?
me. Not really.
Oh,
I
okay.
took probably like 2 small winners in the morning. Took a loss. Got lost in consolidation towards, I don't know, I think it was like 12 at the top there.
Uh-huh.
I think it was kind of where, I don't remember what time it is. On my phone, sorry. On my chart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I was at break even, and I took one more trade before the day ended, and like got a small profit, but I don't remember where. I don't have my laptop on me right now.
Word.
But yeah, it was a okay day. I'm not gonna say it was good or bad, but yeah. And then we're gonna make probably 2,000 tomorrow on non-farm payroll. So yeah,
Yeah, just gotta time it right.
right at open.
Yeah. Have fun doing that.
I'm have a
One, I will not be trading at the open.
a buy limit, limit for shorts, and we'll see which one gets hit first. So, I need more water. But yeah, that area you're looking at right now, H, that's where I got caught up. All that consolidation right there.
All right in here.
Yeah.
Oh
Where
yeah,
arrows are.
I was having fun with it. I was going in.
That reversal button, apparently.
I was going in with 20,000 minis right here. It was
my
great.
Damn. 20,000 minis.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
currently down 1.3 million, so that's fun.
Only,
wild.
it's pocket
That's wild.
change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pocket change.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well,
Alright.
so did you trade at all today, Nate, or no?
Yeah, but I didn't do well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. It
Well,
happens.
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Okay, so let's see. So I'm trying to I was on MNQ.
You just want to share your screen? Show us?
Sure, sure.
All right.
I'm not the best at this, so let's see here.
It's okay, man. Just the big green share screen button.
Oh yeah,
Bottom.
all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's
Look,
that
I'm trying to
easy.
help him out. What? I'm not being a dick.
Dude, I can't wait to show my lunchtime trade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, maybe next week. Let's see. Did it do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just tried to take some of these. I think it might have been this one where I thought it was coming down. Maybe it was like right here. And it made a lower high, and I was wanting it to go down, and I think I got in like right here, and then I got out right here. And then as you can see, it did go down even more. So just something like that, you know.
Uh-huh.
But or was it right? I thought maybe it was even right here where I thought it was kind of like a double top, and I'm like, oh, it's not, it's trying to go higher, but it can't. And I might have got in maybe like right here when it passed these wicks, and I was targeting, down here. And then it just went, I think that's where I tried to enter right here. And I think I had a level right here, and it looked like I thought it rejected right here with this green candle. And then I went to enter right here, and I was positive, and then I was trying to hold, and then it just kind of kept going back up this way. So, and then I got out. So nothing exciting, but
Yeah, you have those days.
I think because I missed that one, I was kind of like, oh, I want to trade. And I saw these down here, and it was pretty high up. So I was like, oh, it needs to come back down at some point. So I thought it went up, tried to come down, went up, and I thought, oh, it can't go up. So I thought right here, when it passed through here, right, I thought it was going to keep going down to here, is what my thought was. And then it just kept going back up, and then kind of doing this. And I think I might even have tried to get in right here again, where it rejected right here. And I think I was still in, and then it went back up again. So, but like you're saying, probably tonight it's going to come down here and then go back up.
Yeah, brutal day after 12, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick to that one trade.
Yeah.
So,
Figuring like right after opens, like the best,
yeah,
probably
I
like
know.
my best time. And then after that, yeah. At least this week, it's been a crazy price action week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and tomorrow should be the end of it.
Hopefully, because next week would be nice
Yeah.
to just walk out.
Next
with-
week we have a fairly light news week.
Yeah, I'm doing that lunchtime trade all next week.
Yeah, fairly light. Never mind. We start off on Monday with CPI inflation.
I mean, that's heavy just Monday, though.
No, that's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday?
That's Tuesday. Wednesday. PPI.
Final quarter sucks, bro.
And the Fed press conference.
Look, we're at the end of the year, man.
Yeah.
I know.
It's December. Can't get
Thursday.
fucking.
Retail sales. So you have red folder news every day but Monday.
Let's go.
Even next Friday. Actually,
So
no.
I'll be making most of my profits very early in the morning and not touching it the rest of the day. Got it.
Exactly. Well, no, you have Red Folder News then too, just for
That's
the
smart.
UK.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But-
It's interesting. So you can trade Red Folder News for other countries, just not the US.
Yeah, it's heavy. Okay, babe. It's been a heavy news week, and I feel like I came out okay, but not nearly as good as I could. So hopefully Friday we get some good opportunities early in the morning. I'm gonna be looking at London and then like late London, right before New York. Hopefully we'll get some good movement, even though news heavy tomorrow. Not too much accumulation, hopefully. I'm praying.
Mango, where do you live?
Maryland.
Oh, okay.
East Coast time. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get pretty much a good opportunity to look at all time.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. I don't assume it's gonna be great, but we'll see.
We shall see. Well, cool. Are there any other questions, concerns, comments?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, with that being said, check the chat. All right, we're all good. All right. So with that being said, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. It's been awesome. It's always fun to discuss the market conditions and everyone's trades and just what's going on.
A lot of learning.
Oh yeah, every day. So that being said, I'm gonna sign off, and until next time, guys, take
Thank you.
care.
Peace, 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 peace. Good night, good night, good night.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.